If you weigh a ton or more, no need to feel upset. Just because you can't do waltzes or a minuet. Oh, grab a partner, get in line, no matter if you're fat. You've come a long way, baby, Graviportal's where it's at.
Stamp your feet, slap your tail, 7 on the Richter scale. Everybody lumber to the Graviportal Polka. Behold the hippopotamus just wallowing along, and see the tiny brontothere cavorting to my song. The mammoth shakes his pillared limbs, man, what a heavy beat. He can do a two-step even though he's got 4 feet. Stamp your feet, slap your tail, 7 on the Richter scale. Everybody lumber to the Graviportal Polka.
Oh, Hadrosaur, you are divine. I wish we were alone. We'd be dancing very slowly, cheek to ankle bone. Here comes a dancing brontosaur, watch out there down below. He's loads of fun, except if he should polka on your toe.
Stamp your feet, slap your tail, 7 on the Richter scale. Everybody lumber to the Graviportal Polka. Hey, giant tortoise, come on in and polka for a spell. Don't be so shy and quiet, you can't come out of your shell. Link arms with you into there and do a go-see-do. It may take you a year, but we don't care if you are slow. Stamp your feet, slap your tail, 7 on the Richter scale. Everybody lumber to the Graviportal Polka. Slap your tail, 7 on the Richter scale. Everybody lumber to the Graviportal Polka.
Well, adipose is beautiful and size is all that counts. If you don't know what I mean, just watch that brontops bounce. Can you feel the good vibrations coursing through the ground every time Tyrannosaurus puts that big foot down?
Snap your feet, slap your tail, 7 on the Richter scale. Everybody lumber to the Graviportal Polka. Snap your feet, slap your tail, 7 on the Richter scale. Everybody lumber to the Graviportal Polka.
Hey! Once on a late Cretaceous plain, a tortoise with a fevered brain beheld a vision grim and dire of desolation, flood and fire, followed by a slow rebirth in which the meek would claim the earth. He stood upon a rocky promontory and loudly cried this terrifying story. There is a comet screaming out of the sky. When it hits, you're all gonna die. It'll blot out the sun. There'll be no place to run, no way to be a hero, and only the roaches will survive ground zero. T-Rex glanced up from a gory feast and said, "Be quiet, foolish beast. You cannot see beyond your beak, yet of celestial doom you speak. Your blood is cold, your wits are slow. What prophecies can sluggards know?" The tortoise cowered back into his shell, but still his tale he was compelled to tell. There is a comet screaming out of the sky. When it hits, you're all gonna die. It'll blot out the sun. There'll be no place to run, nowhere to be a hero, and only the roaches will survive ground zero. Tyrannosaur came gliding by. "Relax," he crowed, "I own this sky, and I determine what and who can pass and who cannot pass through. So even if your threat is real, I think it's not so big a deal. The tortoise once again began to speak, although his voice was just a frightened squeak. There is a comet streaming out of the sky, and when it hits, you're all gonna die. It'll blot out the sun, there'll be nowhere to run, no way to be a hero, and only the roaches will survive ground zero. The herbivores just chewed and grazed. They thought the tortoise must be crazed to worry so about the sky, with T-Rex on the prowl nearby. Life is dangerous enough, don't bother us with cosmic stuff. They chewed so loud they drowned the tortoise out, but still he tried to warn them with his shout. There is a comet screaming out of the sky. When it hits, you're all gonna die. It'll blot out the sun, there'll be no place to run, no way to be a hero, and only the roaches will survive ground zero. Then one day the sky went dark as the comet barreled toward its mark, and just as Tortoise had envisioned, there was a thunderous collision. It shook the earth with deadly force, wiped out all the dinosaurs. And as they died, the tortoise heard them groan. Oh, dreadful day, if only we had known. There was a comet screaming out of the sky, and now it's hit, we're all gonna die. It has blocked out the sun, there is no place to run, no way to be a hero, but the roaches and the tortoise have survived ground zero. The mammals and the lizards will survive. The crocodiles and fishes will survive. The birds and frogs and spiders will survive. Hush, my tiny terror, stop your roaring. It's time for baby monsters to be snoring. Close your hate-crazed eyes and try to sleep. Count slaughtered stegosaurs instead of sheep. Tomorrow is another day, and you can stomp the earth and play and tear and rip and rend and bite. But now, my horrid child, good night. Hush, my darling, kindly cease your bellow. It's time for little killers to be mellow. Lose yourself in dreams of blood and gore. Sleep, my child, your dreadful day is o'er. Tomorrow get an early start, and you can tear your friends apart, eviscerate and claw and fight. But now, my horrid child, good night. Hush, my small destroyer, if you will. It's time for sleepy slayers to be still. Save all of that voracity till dawn. Transform that hungry gape into a yawn. Tomorrow rise up bright and fresh, and you can sink your teeth in flesh and mangle bones, oh lovely sight. But now, my horrid child, good night. My name is Sorolifus Osborni. I roll all my R's and I sing much too high. I come to a point at my cranial scarp, so I never sing flat, only sharp.
I'm Corythosaurus, the second in line. My range is quite broad, so the melody's mine. My crest stands aloft like a resonant bell, so I sing most remarkably well.
Edmontosaurus am I, and I can't sing low or high. I don't have a crest and that's that, so I sing like my head, which is flat.
I'm Parasaurolophus, deepest of all of us. Bass is the part that I chose. My skull makes its tone from a great big trombone that grows out of the back of my nose.
We are the great Cretaceous Hadrosaur, head, bone, horn, quartet. We can bellow a sultry symphony or blast an enemy. We fill the air with sonorous duckbill harmonies, 'cause the voices are pleasant, sweet, and fine.
Most especially mine.
No, mine.
Oh my!
The ladies swoon when we are crooning horny rhapsodies of spring. Then our voices are raised to fever pitch, and it's lust songs that we sing. Females return our yearning, and the joy is deafening.
We are the great Cretaceous Hadrosaur, head, bone, horn, quartet. We can bellow a sultry symphony
Hiya, baby.
or blast an enemy.
Get lost.
We fill the air with sonorous duckbill harmonies, 'cause our voices are pleasant, sweet, and fine.
Most especially mine.
No, mine.
When danger looms, we are undaunted. We raise our muzzles to the sky and we thunder that sound. Can shoot down pterodactyls passing by. Tyrannosaurs disoriented are routed by our cry.
We are the great Cretaceous Hadrosaur, head, bone, horn, quartet. We can bellow a sultry symphony or blast an enemy.
Get lost!
We fill the air with sonorous duckbill harmonies, 'cause our voices are pleasant, sweet, and fine.
Most especially mine.
No, mine.
Oh my!
We roam in herds of many hundreds on the Mesozoic plains, and we constantly hum and listen for 1,000 hummed refrains. We hum to stay together, 'cause humming don't take no brains. We are the great head, bone, horn, quartet. We can a sultry symphony
Hiya, baby!
or an enemy. We fill the duckbill harmonies, 'cause our voices are sweet and fine.
Most especially mine.
We'll honk a tune if we are hungry. We'll honk a tune if we are not, and we frequently honk for reasons we entirely forgot. But since we honk so splendidly, you can bet we honk a lot.
We are the great Cretaceous Hadrosaur, head, bone, horn, quartet. We can bellow a sultry symphony or blast an enemy. We fill the air with sonorous duckbill harmonies, 'cause our voices are pleasant, sweet, and fine.
Especially mine.
No, mine.
No mine.
Honk.
The truth is old and plainly told. It's there for all to heed. No need to doubt or puzzle it out. Believe in what you read.
Well, the evidence makes lots of sense when you exercise your mind. Behold the range of time and change. Believe in what you find.
Well, God created the heavens and the earth and the oceans and the air. Then he planted scrubby shrubbery in the forest cool and bare. Then came the bugs and the butterflies and the birds and the beasts and such. But when the people came, it was a little bit too much. So on the seventh day God rested. You ask me how I know. Well, it's written down in black and white. The Bible tells me so.
Well, the earth revolves, but life evolves, and therefore by default, it's nature's mishap, this homo sap. Thank God you're not God's fault. As Darwin said with a level head, we have the simian shape. So folks, I fear that undoubtedly we're related to the ape. Now in like measure, it's my pleasure to help you to perceive how the genes that arose from the protozoans created Adam and Eve.
Well, can't you read? The Lord decreed creation lasted 6 days.
But Bardhorn talks about fossils in rocks 2 billion years, he says.
Your rocks for sure are the devil's spore.
Your Bible's myth and lore.
In stone or tract where lies the fact. The Bible.
The fossil.
The Bible.
It's the fossil.
The Bible.
The fossil.
The Bible tells us more. Been happy just swimming around. Had no desire to walk on the ground, but my granddaddy blew his cool and wandered out of his Devonian pool. Good times, all gone. Things ain't the same since we left the pond.
I feel awful. My skin is dry. I can't breathe water, and I don't know why. It's really a drag to move on land with my belly scraping on the sand. Oh, good times, all gone. Things ain't the same since we left the pond.
Well, I can't hack it on land at all. Limbs so short I can barely crawl. My body's squat and my head is flat. Look like a shovel whose handle got fat. Good times, all gone. Things ain't the same since we left the pond.
Even sex isn't fun anymore. Doing it on land is a clumsy chore, but underwater, it's worse, I found. You just can't make it when you're both half drowned. Good times, all gone. Things ain't the same since we left the pond.
So here we are, taking over the land, suffering rickets and dishpan hands, needing habits of 2 different kinds. I wish my body would make up its mind. Good times, all gone. Things ain't the same since we left the pond.
So we lie here like slimy logs, being ancestral to newts and frogs, dreaming of the days long gone when we were big fish in little ponds. Good times all gone. Things ain't the same since we left the pond. Times all gone. Things ain't the same since we left the pond.
I've got the fossil fever, I'm a true believer, I'm a hardcore paleo fan. If dust and grime were considered to be time, I'd have a lot of it on my hands. I see those tracks and traces like familiar faces, and I love each one I find. Shells and bones making poetry in stones, well, it's enough to blow my mind.
Life, where have you been so long? I wanna be where you're gone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why
Still going strong.
Time keeps moving on. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't want books, just keep looking at fossils.
Don't want pain, just my name on a fossil.
I don't want pain, just a day with a fossil.
Don't want food, just stay glued to a fossil.
I hear that song of ages written on the pages that will never be complete. Hey, everybody's trying, living and dying to the same primeval beat. The fossil record's playing and my mind keeps swaying to its rocky rhythm and rhyme. My fingers are snapping and my toes keep tapping to the geologic time.
Life, what your creatures made. I wanna see what you know. Yeah, 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 yeah. Why haven't your features stayed? Time keeps moving on. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I don't want drink, just keep thinking of fossils.
Don't want friends, just both ends of a fossil.
I don't want love, I just covered a fossil.
Don't want much, just one touch and a fossil.
I've got the fossil fever, I'm a true believer, I'm a hardcore paleo fan. If dust and grime were considered to be time, I'd have a lot of it on my hands. I see those tracks and traces like familiar faces, and I love each one I find. Shells and bones making poetry in stones, well, it's enough to blow my mind. I hear that song of ages written on the pages that will never be complete. Everybody's friends, just both ends of a fossil. The fossil records playing and my mind keeps swaying to its funky rhythm and rhyme. My fingers are snapping and my toes keep tapping out the geologic time. In scholarly places are scholarly faces, behind which are scholarly brains that think on the bones that have turned into stones and on other less rocky remains. They carefully measure each piece of the treasure, describing each fossa and groove. And then they declare with a confident air that they know how the thing had to move. They know how the thing had to move. Well, one of these same, whom I'd rather not name, wrote an essay on plesiosaurs, in which it was stated, but never debated, that the saurian limbs were like oars. They rode, she concluded, and promptly exuded a copious body of fact, set down in a way. Well, just let us say that the deck was quite shamelessly stacked. The deck was quite shamelessly stacked. The beasts tried to talk from their beds in the chalk, but alas, they were heeded by none. This great scholar showed that they had to have rowed, so that no further study was done. Well, books were soon sold and the story retold, until practically everyone knew that the beasts came complete with 2 oars at every seat and a coxswain to manage the crew. And a cox and a cox and a cox and a coxswain to manage the crew. But the place where the ghosts of the beasts of the coasts and the sea-going creatures are stored, the place where the rolls of all fossilized souls are beheld by a saurian lord, heard an outcry of rage from that long silent age, from the ones who were there and should know. We lived long with pride, and with dignity we died. How dare you insist that we row? How dare you insist that we row? The ghosts from the past stirred their dust at long last, and en masse they invaded the sky, in a desperate try to inform you and I that the saurian properly flies. But the beasts that arose like extinct UFOs have passed without notice or words. They're taken for covens of 707s and high-flying gravigrade birds. And high-flying gravigrade birds. So watch for the geese who are much too obese and whose wings are in front and behind. And if some light plane has a neck like a crane or a blimp has a tail, pay it mind. They speak from a time now enshrouded in lime, when the seas on the continents flowed, when the land was untamed and its creatures were unnamed, and the saurians had to have rowed. And the soaring saurians, and the saurians had to have rowed. A gentle dinosaur, I'm tired and I'm bored. My kin have conquered land and sea, but few of them have soared. And should I not aspire to heights above me is the air? Move over, bugs and pterosaurs, for I shall soon be there. Set me free, I wanna be a bird. The great primeval urge to fly within my breast is stirred. Oh, set me free, I want what flying brings. Change these scales to feathers and these forearms into wings. Well, he flapped his tail and flailed his arms and wiggled a toe or two, but just fainted from exhaustion, saying, "This will never do." He got a good long running start, it surely couldn't hurt, and gave a leap, but crashed to earth, his muzzle in the dirt. There must be some neat trick, he thought, to launch me into flight. So in his mind he leaped from cliffs, but no, that wasn't right. In resignation he retired into a tree nearby. It's just no use, I'm not the type, I'm never gonna fly. Oh, set me free, I wanna be a bird. The great primeval urge to fly within my breast is stirred. Oh, set me free, I want what flying brings. Change these scales to feathers and these forearms into wings. Well, soon a rival dinosaur passed closely underneath. Our friend, a territorial beast, sat up and bared his teeth, and he spread his arms out to the side, his colors to display. And as he did, the wind came up, and and carried him away. So proud was he of his success, he soared back to the tree to pass his newfound prowess on to all his progeny. Then late in the Jurassic, his offspring won their wings and grew bird feet and remiges and other birdie things. Oh, set me free, I wanna be a bird. The great primeval urge to fly within my breast is stirred. Oh, set me free, I want what flying brings. Change these scales to feathers and these forearms into wings. So now birds populate the air, their bodies cloud the sky. Since that one aspiring reptile went and taught himself to fly, there's grebes and ducks and passerines and pigeons by the score, who owe their great success to that precocious dinosaur. Let's sing it! Set me free, I wanna be a bird. The great primeval urge to fly within my breast is stirred. Oh, set me free, I want what flying brings. Change these scales to feathers and these forearms into wings.
We got the disappearing Arkansas blues. They're saying that we're past our prime. There'll soon be mammals filling the shoes that we built and rebuilt for such a long time.
Well, in the late Triassic when we got our start, our future was a-bursting with potential. We lasted the Cretaceous, then we fell apart.
But no one can deny that we were consequential. We got the disappearing Arkansas blues. You never know who's gonna go next. We've ruled so long, it's sure tough to lose. All we get's an obit in a paleo text.
And Chylosaurs and Hadrosaurs and Ceratopses are looking like they're over the hill. And all the furry mammals, they're licking their chopses,
thinking of the feeding niches they're gonna fill. We've got the disappearing Arkansas blues. Our blood will soon be mixed with the stones, and all that's left will be crocodile shoes and handbags and name tags attached to our bones.
Once Diplodocus walked the earth and made it flatter, and T-Rex bit off more than he could swallow. Tyrannosaur was flying high, but that don't matter.
Everybody here today is gone tomorrow. We got the disappearing Arkansas blues. Our world is changing much too fast. We must adapt, but our genomes refuse. Our bodies are oddities bound to the past.
Well, continental drift is busting up Pangea, and all our inland seas have drained and dried. The plants that are evolving give us diarrhea.
Won't you tell me how a dinosaur commits suicide? We've got the disappearing Arkansas blues. We won't have very long to wait. Our niche is scratched and we're paying our dues. So study us, buddy, before it's too late.
I was crossing Colorado just having a blast when my 58 Chevy ran out of gas. I was miles from a town and I thought I was stuck when I saw this dude in a beat-up truck. So I showed him my thumb. He slowed right down, but I knew in a flash he wasn't headed for town. There were picks and shovels stashed in his rig. He leaned out the window and said, "Can you dig?" "Can I what?" Well, the man looked square, but I needed the ride. I said, "I can dig," and I got inside. I asked who he was, and he said, "Call me Doc. I dig big bones out of rubble and rock in the Morrison beds at the Dry Mesa Quarry. come with me and you won't be sorry. The chow is great and the pay is okay, and there's dinosaur bones that'll blow you away.
I said, wow.
He said, come and dig a bone, come and dig a dino, dig a better bone, dig a better dino, dig a bigger bone, dig a bigger dino, come and dig a better, bigger dinosaur bone. Well, we got to the place, his crew was there. They were chipping at the hillside, laying bones bare. They gave me a pick and showed me a spot where the rock was hard and the sun was hot. Well, I dug all day and it was 7 o'clock before I hit pay dirt and called for the doc. It looked like a lump, but the doc was wise. He said, sauropod of unusual size. I said, huh? For 18 days we excavated. The bone was enormous and Doc was elated. We got it out and we dug a trench, so the bone sat up on a hard rock bench. We had us a 9-foot shoulder blade of the mightiest dinosaur ever made. We mixed up plaster and soaked burlap. Doc grinned at me and he said, can you rap?
Can I what?
Wrap a bigger bone, wrap a bigger dino, plaster up a bone, plaster up a dino, jacket up a bone, jacket up a dino, wrap a plastic jacket on a dinosaur bone. So we wrapped it up. When it dried, we turned it on over to the other side. We finished that jacket and there was the bone. Too heavy to lift and too big to take home. So Doctor says, I'll go to town to get a bigger truck to haul it on down. And if you come along, we'll get you some gas and you can be on your way at last.
No way, man.
Hey, I want to stay here and dig some more. There's lots more bones in an ultrasaur. I've got the fossil fever and I just don't care if I sweat and I ache and get dust in my hair. So I camped at that dig all summer long. My hands got blistered but my back got strong. We found more bones and when we were through, Doc took them all back to BYU.
Took them where?
Hey, got a bigger bone, got a bigger dino, got a better bone, got a better dino, gotta get it home, got a lot of dino, now we got a bigger, better dinosaur bone. Now I'm working for the doc full time, cleaning up all those bones we find. But once a year I head for the field to see what those Morrison beds will yield. Well, just this summer I loaded my truck, drove to the quartet to try my luck, hoping maybe I'd find a piece of an even bigger size Mobius.
I say, yeah.
Well, as I drove along in the Utah heat, I saw this dude by the side of the street. He stuck out his thumb and I stopped my rig. I leaned out the window and said, can you dig? I'm taking a trip to the late Jurassic. The pay's okay and the bones are classic. He asked what I did and I just said, I bring them back big and I bring them back dead.
He said, what?
I said, gonna dig a bone, dig a bigger dino, bag a bigger bone, bag a bigger dino, find a bone, find a dino, gonna find a bona fide dinosaur bone. Dig a bigger bone, dig a bigger dino, dig a better bone, dig a better dino, dig a bigger bone, dig a bigger dino, gonna dig a better, bigger dinosaur bone. The head of our museum sent a memo down one day. They named a stegosaur for him. He wants it on display. He wants it in the foyer where its bulk can catch the eye. It's heavy, ugly, cumbersome, and 17 feet high.
We can do it, nothing to it.
Just move the least colossal fossils out from under the rotunda, making wallroom in the ballroom if we have to. Put the 40 fitted cases into not so fitted places, hang a skeleton from every joist and rafter, and we're
moving the bones, moving the bones, moving the bones again.
Just to appease the director's whim.
Just this once and just for him.
With breaking backs and aching limbs, we're
moving the bones again.
The ambassador from China sent a gift most fine and rare, a towering Shantungosaur exquisitely prepared. The foyer is the only place appropriately high, so get the cranes and scaffolds, kiss that stegosaur goodbye. Mwah!
We can do it, nothing to it.
Bring the less colossal fossil out from under the rotunda, making florum in the forum bit by bit. Put the cases by the casement in a corner of the basement, and the skeletons wherever they will fit. And we're
moving the bones, moving the bones, moving the bones again.
Just to please the ambassador.
Just this once and never more.
I think we've heard this line before, but we're
moving the bones again.
The wife of the director came to view the new bequest. She sniffed, it doesn't match the tiles, besides it's so undressed. You need a diorama to add drama to the place. These lizard bones are boring, and the dust is a disgrace.
We can do it, nothing to it.
Move the most colossal fossil out from under the rotunda, then we'll coil it near the toilet in the forum. Eradicate all traces of the 40 fitted cases, better pack the plaques and stack them in the storeroom. And we're
moving the bones, moving the bones, moving the bones again.
Just to suit a lady's taste.
all that headroom gone to waste.
And 15 weeks of work erased. But we're
Moving the bones again.
A congressman came calling as our funds were getting low. He spied the diorama and he cried, "It's gotta go. It's full of foreign fossils, and if I'm your candidate, you'll fill this flamin' foyer full of fossils from our state."
We can do it. Nothing to it.
All the less colossal fossils we'll deposit in the closet, then we'll cram the diorama beneath the stairs. The skeletons can dangle in the stairwell at an angle. In the foyer there'll be smilodons and bears. And we're
Moving the bones, moving the bones, moving the bones again.
just to please some bureaucrat.
who wouldn't know T-Rex from a cat? But we
Need his vote and his wallet is fat, so we're moving the bones again.
The chairman of the board decreed it's time to modernize. Let's can this California stuff and go for scope and size. Uncoil that big Shantungasaur and mount it tall and proud. Ignore the politicians, it's our job to please the crowd.
Yay!
We can do it. Nothing to it.
Bring the less colossal fossils from the storeroom to the forum. Put the cases in their places on the floor. Use the wall room in the ballroom for the families of mammals. And well, hey,
That's just the way it was before.
but we're
Moving the bones, moving the bones, moving the bones again.
Chairman of the board knows best.
Pays my wage, so I'm impressed.
And
After an hour or so of rest, we'll be moving the bones again. Moving the bones, moving the bones, moving the bones again.
Right here. Come on, step right up. You got $3 for $1, young lady. Right, come on, give it some.
Oh my God, did you see that guy? He was so... He actually said thank you the other day. Hey, will you check out the band now? Sure, why not?
I want my hammer in my hand to wear my head for that promised land where fossil hunters travel when they die. Saint Barbara needn't call me twice to stratigraphic paradise, that everlasting outcrop in the sky. I'll keep my eyes on the sacred ground, looking for the lost that might be found, to find those creatures killed and blessed when the holy waters transgressed. Where I can stay in beds all day, where bones of fallen angels lay, collecting shells of souls that went to hell. The ultimate authority, expounding sin's taxonomy, and maybe psychology as well. I'll be preparing every day hearts of stone and feet of clay, and those that might be worth the most, well, I'll sell at a profit to the heavenly host. So when I'm gone, don't you mourn for me, just send some plaster, COD. I'm gonna need a pretty big supply. This field trip to Kingdom Come wants every blessed fossil from that everlasting outcropping, the everlasting outcropping, everlasting outcrop in the sky.